Hi, Lori.
Hey,
What you doing?
kind of caught me off guard there, even though we just said, yeah, I'm ready. And it's like, oh my gosh, what happened? So I'm just going to finish gluing this because,
Blew away.
I was mucking about as we just talked about, and I don't want to lose out where I've
Yeah, don't
put the
lose your
glue.
space.
I can't lose my glue.
No.
I can only do that in public places,
With non-friends.
right? Yeah.
Okay, I
So,
promise
how's it going?
I'm not getting sick. My tree is blooming. So I'm gonna be a little stuffy and coffee, but I'm good.
So
Uh
get over it for
yeah,
anyone who has issues,
yep. Suck it up,
which
buttercup.
which we're going to talk about
Yes, we
today.
are.
Massive issues. Shocker. It's like, oh my gosh, girls, is that all you talk about is problems? Well,
Yes.
there is a lot, I'm sorry to say, there's a lot of problems in this world. So
And
yeah,
and
there's a lot of things to discuss,
and I have a lot of them. Self-diagnosed.
right?
No, it's
So
spring
yeah.
break this week, so I've got the girls.
Yes, I noticed that here too. There was a lot of kids out and about, and I'm like, why guy are you guys not in school? And then I discussed it with Meg a little bit last night because I had to go to where did I go yesterday? I think I went to the bank. I can't remember where else we went. The
Well, I know
bank.
you got coffee.
Oh, and coffee. I can't remember. We did something else. There was something else in there. Anyway, it does not matter. What matters is I said to her, you know, it's no wonder this world has fallen apart. These kids never go to school, uh,
Okay,
right?
for real. I
Like,
can't tell you how many times Rachel's like, "Mom, what are you doing?" Because
uh,
they're how many? What? How many days off do they need?
exactly. So she says, well, right now it's March break. So I went, oh, okay. Like, that's fine. But saying that, I'm like, okay, but still, like, I don't know. Maybe I'm getting old stuff, but when I was out of school, my parents put me to work. We did stuff.
Yeah,
We just didn't roam around the town running in front of traffic. You know,
running in
they're
front of
so
traffic,
they
and
are
they're rude.
they're jaywalking and all this kind of stuff, and they're so entitled. These brats, entitlement galore. Like they're just it's oozing out of their pores.
Yeah, you can just tell by the way they
You know,
walk.
they when they cut in front of you because they're jaywalking, and then give you a dirty look because you didn't stop for. Oh my God, I'm not.
Lori's not healthy.
I'm not in a lot of ways, but that just sends me. I'm sorry. It really does.
Like we
Um,
would plan stuff for our kids spring break.
right?
Um, Now I will say this. Here, our weather is so jacked up this time of year. Like it could be cold, it could be hot, it could be a both. We could have a winter storm. And we
Yeah.
actually did one year. Spring break, we were taking the kids to SeaWorld.
Yeah.
Um, Cold front came through, poured down rain, and it went from like 80 degrees, which is your perfect weather, like
Yeah,
what
it's
you
my
experience. Yeah,
my
down to
fave.
like 45,
Wow.
like instantaneously, like within an hour of 40-degree difference. We had no winter clothes. We had to literally go shop at Goodwill because the stores weren't selling winter clothes either.
Yeah.
So we did decide that doing major things on spring break, the weather's you can't plan because you don't know what the weather's like until immediately, right?
Well, I have a little story to tell you. So one year, many moons ago, I think it was in 2013, hubby and the friends of ours that we travel with went to Vegas. And we decided one day, let's just, hang out by the pool, have a few drinks, whatever. So we go to the pool, and as soon as we walk into the gate of where the pool is, the guy says, oh, just so you know, we're closing in an hour. I went, closing? And he goes, yeah, we close early in the winter. Well, we all cracked the hell up. I said, winter. And he said, yeah, it's our winter. And I said, okay, but it's sun's still shining. It's hot. It's, and he goes, no, that's what we do. I said, okay. So anyway, we go in and the lifeguard sitting up on the thing with a towel over him, all wrapped up like he's, what is happening? Like, okay, you people have no idea
No, but
what
we're not
cold.
acclimated to it either.
Yeah, but come on now, Steph.
No,
That
I
that
no, I get it.
it's Vegas. How cold is? I
In
don't
the
know what it was when
daytime,
we were there.
probably not. Well, I don't know what month you were in. Now, I will say at night in the desert, it does get very cool.
Okay, it gets chilly that you might have to wear a sweater. I do
Yeah,
give you that. I was, we did wear a sweater, but I mean, to
but
sit
in the
there and
daytime
shiver,
and the sun is out,
right?
I don't know.
Anyway, I'm gonna get off of that subject because it's just I don't want to offend anyone, but it just makes me giggle because they're like, you know, cold.
Well,
And
it's
I'm
like
like,
when I hear people up north is like, "Oh, we're in a heat wave." I'm like, "Oh, shut the front door. You have no
yeah,
idea what a heat wave is." They're like, "It's 82 degrees." And I'm
yeah,
like, "Okay, it's 82 degrees in March. Y'all need to calm down. Call me
yeah.
when
So
it's 112, okay? Just
even though
saying."
I feel bad for people that are, like I get it, you're not
Yeah.
used to it, but still, I chuckle because I think, oh, okay, I would love you to come here for a little bit.
See, I like to be cool. I don't want to be freezing. There is a difference.
Yeah.
And we already know how I feel about snow, so I'm not gonna talk about how I feel about snow every single podcast. So we're not gonna talk about snow.
Yeah, okay, I won't either then, but I hate it. Sorry.
Hey,
I just have to get
you
that
can
out.
do that because you live in it. I don't. So I just
Listen,
need to
we've
shut my
had
mouth.
3 days of sunshine here. Oh my gosh, so nice. I don't know if anyone heard me mention it, but I'm seeing a little wee bit of grass up the driveway, and one of the big trees, like well, there's this great big uh, tree out the front that kind of is a low growing, but it's almost
Yeah,
like a bush, but
like
it's
a
big.
shrub.
Yeah, yeah, but
Yeah.
it's long and it's tall. I'm
Mm-hmm.
seeing tips of it. So that
Ooh.
is so exciting when we start seeing the snowbanks fading away and you could pull out of your driveway without having to edge out because the banks are so high you can't see the traffic coming. That's excitement.
Yeah, I'd be excited.
We know spring is coming.
Spring is coming. Spring
So
is coming.
we all have a little jig in our
Okay.
step. There's a little bit of smiles happening.
But
Well,
that's
except
why
on the,
back in the olden days they would literally celebrate those things
yeah. Well,
because
we
it was
do.
like so exciting.
Yeah.
The fig tree is blooming, so we have all kinds of green leaves coming out on the fig
Yeah.
tree. And I have no idea what kind of plants I planted in my front yard many moons ago, and I just ignore them
Uh-huh.
because if they can't survive without me, they're just gonna die. And they're blooming. I have a red one and a pink one. And I was like, oh, look what I have. I don't even know. I don't even know the last time they bloomed, but they're
Okay,
blooming
so
now.
first off, I'm gonna apologize to our viewers,
Hmm.
okay, who's watching this, because my room's a disaster.
Oh, mine's
My
always a
desk,
disaster.
I was crafting my brains out during Steph's live last night, and I didn't put my laundry away, as you could see. Like, who's got time for that?
You have crafting
So,
to do. That
so
laundry
I'm
is still
sorry,
going to
but
be there.
there's priorities in life, and that ain't one of them.
Amen, sister. Preach it.
So there you go. I'm just giving you the heads up in case you're looking and think, oh my God, she does live in a horde. So what are we talking about today?
It's all good. I'm in a horde.
Okay.
So today we are talking about a disorder that I absolutely have. And just a little side note. This is the second disorder that I have that is just recently recognized as a disorder. So the first one was restless leg syndrome. Before it was known as restless leg syndrome, my sister and I just called it jumpy leg because that's just what it feels like. It's an awful sensation. And now everyone knows that that's a real thing. And the same thing with misphonia. So that's what we're talking about today. And misphonia, the truest, like the base definition is hatred of sound. I don't hate all sounds, but basically, misphonia is extreme sensitivity to certain sounds. And everybody who has misphonia has their different sounds. And it's not
Yeah.
just like, oh, that's irritating. It is, oh my God, if that doesn't stop, I am going to hurt
Yeah.
somebody. Like it is an irrational,
It
very
is.
visceral
Yeah.
reaction to a sound. Like, I don't even know how to explain this reaction because honestly, this is the only time that I can literally feel like I will drive a stake through your brain if you do not stop making that noise.
Well,
Oh, I told my husband that one time. Okay, so
okay.
it's
That's
it's again, it's irrational and it's a very visceral type of reaction.
now I do believe I'm going to say something here. And I could be wrong, so I'm not going to speak for everyone. But I think these misphonias go on levels
Oh yeah.
because I have some of those things too where sound bothers me. Some of them I can almost ignore. Not a lot, but I can ignore it. It doesn't take me to the point of sheer rage. But then there are some that honestly, I shoot dirty looks at whoever's making that sound.
No, no, me too.
Like, you need to stop. Okay. So, upon my investigation of this, do you know? I don't know if you looked it up either, but you probably did because we investigate these things. But
Yes.
um, misphonia is attributed to ADHD.
And autism.
Yeah, it's a form of it.
Hmm.
So, well, I don't know if they call it a form of it. I can't remember what they call it. They call it a comorbidity or
Oh,
co.
yes. So
Okay.
basically, it can be a symptom
Yes.
of these things. So,
Yes.
with autism, the spectrum, not everybody who is on the spectrum experiences it the same way. And it's the
Hmm.
same thing with misphonia, right?
Yeah.
Um, so it is a reactivity to aversive sounds, including a heightened autonomic nervous system and negative emotional arousal. And it's pattern based. And that's the first time I've seen that it's pattern based, like the sound.
Oh,
So it's
do you mean repetitive?
yes.
See, that's
So
me. I can't.
that's the thing. That is why I cannot handle at all hard rock music.
Yeah.
Like it's that guitar,
Yeah. Yeah.
that immediately within, I don't know, 5 seconds, and I'm not exaggerating, within 5 seconds of that, my whole body feels like it is going to explode
Yeah.
and I am instantaneously angry.
Do you know what it does it to me? That does it to me too. I don't like it. Like when I get in the car and hubby turns on his rock music, I reach over and go zip
Yeah.
off. If we can't come to a decision on what channel we're going to listen to, then we're out altogether. So anyway, but my thing is, and I don't know, this has been for a long, long time. And I'll show you exactly what it is. Ready?
Yeah. I knew it. And you know what's
Please
funny?
stop.
You know what's funny about that? That doesn't bother me.
Yeah,
That
see?
sound, that sound doesn't bother me at all. I've been actually guilty of doing that. Like when I'm concentrating or whatever,
Yeah.
like a fidgety thing, that sound doesn't bother me. But I swear to God, if you do not open a peppermint in like 2 seconds, that whole with people under
You take your life into your own hands, just
it
sucking on
is,
a
and I
peppermint.
can I can feel my body though. That's the
Yeah.
thing, right? So and I'm going to use church as an example because that's people eat peppermints in church. I don't know why it's a thing. It's a thing. All right. So someone to be behind me and they're doing that, And I can feel my whole body go like that. And Kitty had put his hand on my leg. He's like, it's okay, babe. And I'm like, but and everything in me wants to turn around and go, oh my God.
See,
Like,
another one of mine is scraping of the plate or a bowl.
yes.
Oh
Oh,
my God. You don't have to have every ounce of food that's up off that. Do you really need
I
to
would
scrape
rather
it?
see someone lick their bowl clean than to scrape it like that. Like, oh,
So, a little tidbit that nobody knows about me.
you lick your
Uh,
bowl clean?
no, I don't go
Okay.
that far. I'd have real problems then. But no, what I do is when it's my turn to do the dishes,
Hmm.
um, I take a paper towel and then I clean the dishes off in the garbage with the paper towel. I don't use the utensil because I can't stand that
The
scraping.
sound. Hmm.
So I take the paper towel and swipe it, swipe it, swipe it, and that's it. I don't. I
You know
I
what you
I.
would like is silicone spatulas.
Oh yeah,
I love my because they don't make any noise, but
yeah,
they do a really good job of like especially if I'm
yeah,
baking and I need to scrape around
yeah,
silicone because you don't hear it
yeah.
and it's perfect and they work real and they're flexible. It works
So
great.
we came back from vacation. Okay, I love Meg to death, right? Like
Hmm.
she's just the sweetest thing. She went and bought some new plates and bowls, and I first off, they're 800 pounds each. I can't lift them out of the cupboard. Okay. Second of all, they're of that stoneware that has that scraping. Like, so last night I said to her, not to be rude, I said, but where did the other plates go? Like, where are they all? And
Where are my plates?
where she goes, what, the white ones? I went, yeah, the ones that were there before. She goes, oh, they're all downstairs. And I went, okay, would you mind if I brought one up for myself? Because I don't like these. She goes, really? I said, yeah, I don't like them. I don't,
It's
I
okay.
don't, it's like, honestly, right now, I'm just bubbling over with two kinds of anxiety. One, the sound of those plates, and two, hurting the feelings of my sweetest daughter-in-law.
Oh my gosh, that's so funny.
But yeah, it's just sends me off the deep end. It's like, okay, where's the plates? Where are they gone?
So I have two sounds that absolutely invoke rage. Besides rock and roll, we've already talked about that.
Yeah.
And it is that, oh my gosh, I just can't. Any music, any music
Yeah,
that is super repetitive, I can't.
right.
I'm out. Like I don't
Yeah.
care what kind it is. I can't. Um okay.
I'm sorry.
A chip bag.
Really?
I can't. I cannot handle. I'm trying to see if I have all the chips you sent me are gone. I have this little
All
bitty
the
chip bag
chips you
here.
sent me. All the chips
Okay.
you sent me are gone.
So, I have this bag over here. And this, when it gets too much, like at the top, I cut it off because I can't handle this. This right here. So this is the worst. So this is the chips. The chips are here. I'm gonna close this
See,
back
I
up.
can't even hear that when you do it.
Did you hear that?
No.
Oh, I put it right on the microphone. Anyway, okay, everyone knows what chip bag
I
sounds like.
wonder if our things are like drowned
Yeah, because
out
I can hear
sounds.
it. Oh, maybe. It probably does. So this is my husband. Okay, this is a chip bag. He'll hold it like this, and he'll be like, because he can't breathe through his nose
Yeah.
because he has a deviated septum. So when he eats, he can't breathe. So he's
Oh,
like a
I can't.
Neanderthal.
Oh my God, Steph.
And so I will tolerate it. And then I remember one day I looked at him. I said, I swear to God, if you don't pour those chips in a bowl,
In a
I'm gonna
bowl.
get a metal rod and hammer it through your head.
Oh,
And
oh,
he just looked at
oh.
me and he's like, seriously? I was like, babe, that sound, I can't. It is
Right away he's thinking, Who did I marry? This woman is going to kill me.
So that sound, and the other sound, and I've already forgot what it was. Hold on, I said there was two. There's this one,
The music and
the music, this one, and oh my
the
gosh, how
plastic
does
the plastic paper.
well, yeah, but to me that's all like the
Oh,
same
that's all the
noise.
same. Okay.
So anything that makes this noise, oh, smacking.
Oh, yes. And it
Now,
just chewing with your mouth open does
yes,
me.
I can't. That's what I'm saying. It's like,
You know,
stop,
I'll turn and say, "Oh, you must have been raised in a barn. Were you raised in a barn?" And they look at me like, "Huh?" It's like,
right?
well,
Are you a cow chewing on a cud? Because that's what it sounds
yeah,
like.
yeah.
I
That
can't.
and gum.
Oh, I know. I can't even.
And we just
Sometimes noises in my own head, like chips, not regular, like the chips that you chew really fast, but like Cheetos. You know how it takes longer to chew a Cheeto? This is how demented this makes me, okay? I can hear it and I just swallow it because I can't handle listening to myself chew anymore. Because you know how you can hear it inside your own head?
yeah.
I can't.
I don't
I
mean to laugh, but I know what you're talking about. At the
but
same
again, it's so real to the point where the last job I had, I got hired and within like 2 weeks we had the like a manager's retreat that I had to go to. Okay. These people don't know me. I've only worked there for 2 weeks. Okay. I'm sitting right next to my boss. And the theme was like baseball or some nonsense. And you know, the popcorn things that they have that are shaped in a bat. I don't know, whatever. Anyway, it was made of this material. Okay. So everyone's eating their snacks. He's sitting right next to me trying to undo it. Real slow. Just real slow like trying to undo it. Lorie, I'm lying, I'm dying. I snatched that right out of his hand, opened it up really quick, and handed it back.
Why was he doing it slow if everybody else
Be-
was?
no, because somebody was talking.
Oh, so you weren't purposely just sitting there having snacks. It
No,
was like a,
no. Yeah, so we
okay,
were in like a
gotcha.
meeting, someone was
Yeah.
talking, so he was trying to be
So he was
quiet.
trying to be quiet. Yeah.
I couldn't. It's like, I'm gonna get
Oh,
fired. I'm gonna get
I'm
fired. And he just looked at me. I was like, I'm sorry. I was like, that noise. And he's
that
like,
noise.
okay.
Okay.
Psychopath.
Note to self.
All right.
Send an email to everybody.
We hired a psychopath.
Yeah.
Everyone, beware. Do not open packages near her because
Yeah.
she's gonna lose it. Yeah, but
Oh my
smacking.
gosh.
So, kids, they have to learn,
Yeah.
right? It honestly, I don't know why chewing with your mouth closed is not just a natural, like evolutionary thing. Apparently it is not because all kids like a cow. And Lainey
Yeah.
still does it sometimes. And
Yeah.
literally, I'll just my head will swivel like I am on The Exorcist.
Yep.
And I will
That's
just look at her and she's like, sorry, Nana. And she will make a point to do that. Like, okay, it's closed. Please,
I
please
know.
don't lose
See,
your
it's
glue
hard.
on
See,
me.
I think that's the thing. Some people just don't recognize the things that they do. But also, they're not going to know what's going to bother every single person
No,
because that
and
the next person they're sitting with that might not bother them. So it's difficult. But to me, the mouth closing thing, there are things that you could teach people, children, and
yes,
that come on, it's rude. You don't need
and
to be
and she
smacking.
and she knows because it would
Yeah,
take more than just a look, right? And
yeah.
she's outgrown it. She actually, knows how to eat and chew with her mouth closed.
Oh
So
yeah, for
it's when
sure.
she's younger.
Yeah,
Um, but with Kenny, because he cannot breathe through his nose,
yeah.
so when he eats, he has to breathe out of his mouth or he's gonna just die.
Oh my gosh,
Lack of oxygen while he's eating. Uh, because
lack
there's
of
times
oxygen.
when I'm just like, anything that is moist, like wet
I
food.
hate that word, moist.
Well, I tried not to use it, but nothing else was coming to mind.
I know.
That's I And Kenton has the same problem. And I remember when Kenton was a kid, and he would be like, it would invoke that same visceral response in him when
Yeah,
his dad ate. And I'm like,
yeah.
Kenton, just go upstairs. Just,
Just
go over
walk
here.
away, son.
Or
Walk
sometimes
away.
I would tell Kenny, babe, go eat in the living room. Leave all of us
Yeah.
alone, go eat in the living room. I tell him, it's like, I know it's not your fault. You cannot help it. We're crazy. You're not. You're normal. I'm not. I know this is
See,
not normal. I know this is
yeah,
not a normal reaction. I know
yeah,
this is, but I cannot help it. I can't. There's a lot of things that bother me that I can control my
yeah,
reaction and I can control how it makes me feel.
yeah,
But there are some things that it is a very physical, it is almost like someone just punched me in the gut. You know
yeah,
what I'm saying? It's like that very physical reaction to these
yeah.
sounds.
I know exactly what you're talking about.
um
But
and
and to get back onto the subject of people in general, I honestly think a lot of us are like that, just at different levels, like I
yeah,
said. So what bothers some might not bother others, right? But I'd like to know is if there's people that that kind of stuff doesn't bother at all.
yeah, my
Like,
husband.
really? No,
There's
it
not
doesn't bother him at all?
no sounds. Like we've
Oh,
had this conversation in depth,
really?
and I will like, okay, what about this or what about that? What about that? And he's like,
Yeah.
no. He's like, it doesn't bother me. I'm like, I'm about to hang my own self by listening to these sounds. I'm trying to,
Okay.
but
So
they
I'm
just
gonna have
don't.
to ask hubby if that is a thing for him. Because I've never asked him, does he have those issues? Like I've never ever said, doesn't that bother you? Doesn't this bother you? And so I'm gonna have that conversation with him and I'll report back.
Report back.
Okay.
Because
There we
Kenny
go.
loves music, loves music. He listens to music a lot. He watches a
Hmm.
lot of music videos on YouTube, and I'll be, in there with him, and we're just hanging out. And there's certain songs, and he watches me, and if I do this, like,
Do you think that they watch you? Because George watches me sometimes too, as soon as something comes on. Do you think they watch you just to get a shit and giggle out of it
well,
versus,
he does it because he really is trying to figure out like what it is.
oh well,
Because I can
you're
listen to some music and it doesn't bother me at all, but then
yeah.
other music, I just want to like blow the TV up. You know what I mean? Like
Yes.
it's, and so I think he's watching, trying to figure it out. Like, and and it is
Well,
one,
you're
it's very
lucky.
repetitive.
Yeah, you're lucky because I don't think mine does. I think he looks at me just with a smile on his face, like, oh, this is gonna get her. I
Like,
could be wrong, but that's the feeling I get because I'm so PO'd about the music
yes.
that like he's taking pleasure in the fact that this is driving me cray cray.
Like when I get in the truck, if he already has like, because in his truck, his phone automatically connects, and he has Spotify, so it's automatically connects to Spotify. But he'll immediately be like, "Oh, let me turn that off." Okay, thanks.
Let
Like,
me turn that off.
because the
Yeah.
only thing I was now, what's funny is if I drive and my phone connects, it's true crime podcast pops up. That's what I'm listening to. I can't handle music, but I can listen about murder all
All
day
day.
long.
You and me
Okay.
both. You and me both. I'm the same way.
But there are
I actually,
the way some people talk, I can't. There are certain voices. Here's an example of music. I don't like most female singers.
really
They're breathy.
mean breathy. What does that mean?
So, Faith Hill is one of them. So, if you listen to them and they're singing and they do this, and you can hear that intake of air because they're trying to get their breath, I
Yeah.
can't. Most men don't do it. But
Oh
that's the
my gosh.
thing. Like, I will listen to a song and I'm like, oh God, did you hear that? And Kenny's like, hear what? I'm like, that sound. I will make him rewind it and I'm like, right there, like
Right
that
there.
sound. And he's just looking at me like I am a psychopath. He's like, babe, it's like, okay, there was a sound there. I don't care
It's
what you say.
okay. It's okay.
But I'm
He'll
also
be,
one of those people that hears all the little sounds.
yeah. Yeah.
And if I can't figure out what it is, it will bother me insanely.
See,
Now,
I'm on the milder side of you, I think. I don't think I'm as the couple that I have that bother me are ones that really like do a number, right? Like you say, take your
yeah,
whole insides kind of
oh, so awful.
crumble. But there's other things I can't even remember, to be honest. The pen clicking and um, the mouth thing and the music, I think, are my three top. The plates. There's another one. There's four. What else?
Come on, you keep going. You got this.
Oh, I can keep going. There's more. I just,
Now, not
sometimes until you
everything.
hear it,
Yeah.
you don't recognize it as a problem,
Now, not
right?
everything is a gut punch. Like
Yeah.
it's not, oh
Right.
my gosh, but there are things that are it still needs to stop because if it keeps going. So there's
Hmm.
some noises that it's instantaneous.
Yeah.
Instantaneous, I hear it, I'm losing my mind. There's other noises that if it doesn't stop, I'm going to get
Yeah.
there. For example, this fan that sits on my desk, okay? It sits on my desk, and because it's a fan and it's moving, it vibrates. I can hear it vibrating on my desk. Apparently, nobody else can because I have mentioned it several times and people just look at me like I'm crazy. So I have it sitting on top of this. So it's not on my desk and I don't hear it, it doesn't vibrate because I can't. If a ceiling fan's off balance, you know, it does that click, 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 click. Can't that
Wow.
it's the repetitive. It's the
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
constant I
Yeah.
y'all the fastest way to torture me, I would tell you everything. Just play a sound that just gets on my nerves. I'll tell you whatever you want to know. I would not be a good spy. I would not be a good government employee. Like, don't tell me anything top secret. Because
All
that
your secrets would come out if I
they
could
would.
remember
I'd be like,
them.
just make it stop. Yeah, it's
But sorry to say this, but do you know that misphonia is a lifelong disorder?
yeah.
It never goes away. You never
Yeah.
ever get used to a sound and say, okay, I'm cured of that one.
And
No.
honestly, I think like with most, it gets worse with age.
Really? You think?
Because I look at myself
Huh.
now versus even 10 years ago. And I can tell you it's gotten worse with age. Just like my fear of heights has gotten worse with age.
Okay, so I'm just going to ask you this. I want to be devil's advocate here.
Me.
Do you think that you talk yourself into that kind of stuff? Of it
No,
being,
because I don't want to be this way. And so I fight it, if that makes sense.
yeah,
Like my fear of heights. Okay. Because we have overpasses here that are higher than any roller coaster made in the world.
yeah,
And as much as they tear, I make myself go over them. Like I haven't got to the point where I'm like, I can't. And you know what I'm saying?
yeah.
I make myself do it. So I don't think that I talk myself into it as much as it's just there. I just fight it. And
Hmm.
this, I mean, I haven't killed anybody for making sounds. I have not actually put a rod through my husband's head or heart or any other part of his
Oh, so you have
body.
control.
So exactly. As long as it stops, we're all good. I'm in
Yeah.
control.
So I'm just gonna say this. So I'm looking at my notes here. In my notes, it says that there's some um, research being done that misphonia is a sign of intelligence.
That's
So you
it.
have a higher IQ. Then if you have these things, you have a higher IQ than the average non-misphoniated person. I
Look at
just
me.
made that up. No, I didn't make it the intelligent part up, the non-misphonia.
So
I
you want to
made
know
that part.
something funny? You know what else they say is a sign of intelligence? Sloppy handwriting.
Oh, okay. Well, I must be
Because
as stupid as a stump.
the your brain works faster than your hand can.
Yeah, I get that sometimes when I'm writing.
So sometimes you're highly intelligent.
So yeah, it comes and goes whenever my mood strikes me.
Ah,
You going to be smart today.
that's funny.
Oh, look at the mop. God, I'm gorgeous.
So research on Misphonia is in its infancy. So it's a brand new thing, but it is recognized as a disorder now.
Yeah.
Um, so auditory stimuli is a noted symptom in a variety of other neurological, developmental, psychiatric, and auditory processing disorders like tinnitus, hypercusis, migraine headaches, autism spectrum disorder, schizophrenia, Fragile X syndrome. I don't know what that is.
Never heard of that.
Me either. Tourette's. Oh my God, could you imagine if I had Tourette's on top of it?
I'd have the cursing one.
I know you would. I think you're borderline anyway.
I know. Oh my.
Sensory processing disorder. Why'd they have Tourette's on here twice? Obsessive and compulsive related disorders and more.
Mm,
Um, it's unknown. What it is. There's no treatments.
no, that's it. There's nothing.
Okay, funniest thing I did read, and I can't find where it is, and I forgot to save it. They actually have a convention
Could you
for
imagine?
okay, but then like I was reading all the comments, it's like, okay, like do you have to fill out a questionnaire on what your sounds are? Like, could you imagine if you set someone who had an aversion to fork and plate next to somebody who didn't care? Like you would have to sit the people with the same
That
aversions next to
that's
each
an
other.
organizational nightmare that would
Yeah,
be. Could you
I
imagine?
couldn't because for me, because so many noises really do bother me. I'm just like,
Yeah.
do you have an enclosed box that I could just sit in? Not to mention I have aversion to people, so
Yeah, there you go. Cut that out right
just a
there.
box.
So the other thing that I read was that misphonia is related to childhood trauma. So apparently, if you've had significant uh, stress or traumatic stress, it comes out in these misphonias because you're you're sensitized to behaving a certain way as a child. To prime example would be that I can correlate this comment to is prime example. Say you were little at home and you were chewing with your mouth open and your mother came by and slapped you in the back of the head. And that happened multiple times or something else or something else. Those things that happen turn into your
Problems.
misphonia.
Hmm.
Yeah. So that's what they're doing research on that as we speak. Like there's people in a room right this second discussing it.
Yeah.
Much like we are. And
Yes.
they're listening to our podcast to get all the
They
info.
are. They are taking notes and like, oh my God,
Man.
I'm gonna get an email. Ma'am,
Right?
we would like to study you.
Hey Siri.
But you know what else they are finding is also very related to childhood trauma?
What?
Fibromyalgia.
Really?
Hmm. And so both fibro and misphonia are neurological disorders.
Mm.
And it stands to reason if you suffered trauma while you are developing, while your brain and your neurons and all of that is developing, it's going to screw you up in some kind of way. Like
True.
And it messes with your body itself, right? So this isn't just a mental, I had childhood trauma
Yeah.
and working through that. It affects the core of your being.
Hmm.
And those are some things like obviously misphonia and fibro, there's no cure for. It's something I will have to live with for the rest of my life.
Hmm.
And it's not something I can just like go to therapy and work through it,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
Because it's still going to be there. I'm still
Yeah.
going
Yeah.
to hate the way a chip bag sounds. It's still going to invoke that because childhood trauma messes with your nervous system
But
and
there
you
has
can't
to be
fix
ways
it.
where we, as people that have these things, can minimize the effect it has on us. Like,
Yeah, I walk
there's
away.
got to be ways for it. But anyway, I don't know the ins and outs. All I know
Oh,
is,
I don't either.
uh,
And they don't. I mean,
no,
they're just now
yeah,
recognizing it as okay, this is a real disorder, right? So it's gonna
mhm.
I'll be dead before they figure anything out because it just takes them forever. Like they still
But
don't know what causes fibro. They still don't know how to treat it besides throwing a
yeah,
bunch of drugs at. You know what I mean? So
yeah,
because I think some things because it is your nervous system, that is a very, very, very complex. And it's
well, yeah, because it's so multi-layered
yes.
reasonings
And then
and
if
how
you
tos and
have multi problems, that's not how you
yeah,
say that, but anyway, right?
diagnoses.
Yeah. So it's not like they can't go in there and separate them out and like, okay, we're going to work on this one. It just, because your body doesn't work like that,
Yeah,
unfortunately. It just
yeah,
doesn't. And that
yeah.
like Kenton has sensory processing disorder. So they're like he has misphonia. There's only a few things that whatever, but certain textures and tactile things on his body, absolutely not.
Yeah.
Absolutely not. Like he cannot wear socks that have the seam in them at all.
Wow. So in my investigation, I did notice that online there is a uh, self-assessment. So there's a like a quiz that you could take to see what your situation is.
Oh, I didn't find a
No, I
quiz.
have never taken that. It's called Misphonia. It's So Quiet Misphonia Advocacy, and it's Misphonia quiz online S-5 self-assessment. So you could take this test and see what kind of a what scale you're on, what, that kind of stuff. So I don't know. I never did it. I seen it when I wrote it down, but
Oh, I'm gonna take it. I'll report back.
okay.
I would
Yeah,
have they're probably going to be like, ma'am, you need to
yeah.
commit yourself right now before you're a danger to others.
Oh, geez. Yeah, I can't have
Are
that.
you dying?
But
Okay, go in there then.
What are those muffins?
Yep.
What are those muffins?
Okay. That's how I deal with stuff. If you ain't dying, I already told them, don't interrupt
yeah.
me.
Um, but anyway, I don't know. I'm gonna have to go around and ask the family members what they think, if they all have them, and because I've never brought it up to anybody. I just get angry. I just,
And see that I will say though that I think that is a key of being able to work through my issues is because everybody in my house knows, right? They already know if we're like family night, okay? Like when they all come over and we're hanging out in the living room and we're playing
hmm.
games and we have snacks and chips, everyone knows the chips go in a bowl. No, they go in a bowl.
Yeah,
And then they go from the bowl to your plate or whatever. There's no chip bags. Like when we have a get together, seriously, the chips get poured in a bowl. We save the
yeah,
bag, right? So if there's any leftovers, it goes back in the bag. But
yeah,
and so that's how I cope. My husband knows about the music. So like when if I'm hanging out with him in the living room and he's listening to it, it's my choice to stay or go. He
yeah.
should not have
No,
uh to
I
stop
agree.
doing what he's doing, right? So that's my choice to stay or go. In the truck because I can't go. he is very respectful. So I think communicating it and helping them understand, and by starting off by saying, I know it's irrational. I understand that it's not normal. However, it is very real for me. It is a very real, visceral feeling for me. And I don't want to be this way. Like, I am not trying to be a crazy person.
I just don't like, how can I say this so it doesn't sound like it's, I don't like to be angry at people for living their life.
Exactly.
That's the thing. Like, just because it bugs me doesn't mean you have to tiptoe around me. And that's what like the plate thing. Okay. I can't even tell you how hard I try not to.
I know.
Just
I do know.
lay down in the fetal position and rock. That's all I want to, you know what I mean? And
I do.
That might sound extreme, but that's how I feel when they're all doing it. And like, I literally put my head down and just try and eat. And hopefully the sounds of me chewing is drowning out the sounds of people scraping their plates.
Like, because you can while you're chewing. No, seriously.
Yeah.
And you don't have to do it super loud, but it does help drown out the sounds around you.
Yeah. But that's the
Ask
thing.
Me how I know.
I don't, I know. But there's times, okay, I'm going to give you the example. So one example would be the dinner thing when everybody's around. I'm not stressing everybody out at dinner because I have a friggin' issue with the plates, right? So, but the other thing I do is when we're in a meeting, so there's a member of the Lions Club that when we're in a meeting, I swear all he does is sit there and click his pen. Now, I'm the secretary. I'm trying to take minutes.
Notes. Mm-hmm.
Do you know how hard it is when all I'm fixated on is that stupid sound and I'm trying to keep notes at the same time?
Is it his pen or are those pens provided?
No, it's his pen. He brings it. So this is what I'll do. Okay, I'll catch his glaze and I'll go. Don't do it, right? And then he puts his pen down. But then a few minutes later, he's picked his pen up and starts again.
That's
so it's a thing
thing
for him. But that's one situation where I just can't ignore it because I'm trying to concentrate on one thing. And I can't concentrate on his noise.
I know. That's the same way I am when people are open peppermint in church. I no longer am I paying attention to anything. Someone could yell fire and I would still be fixated on the stupid peppermint package. Okay. Like, I'm just saying it is very, can you sit somewhere different or have him sit somewhere different? Like not next to you. But yes, I do get it. Like, I fully understand, especially in a professional setting. It is. And I've had to go to the restroom a whole lot sometimes just to get away and like get it all out.
And then there's times where I have to say, sorry, I got distracted. What was that about again? And they'd have to repeat so I come off looking like a fool. Because Yahoo over there is clicking his ass off on his pen. And it's like, okay, can we just stop?
You need to get him one of those little popper things or a fidget spinner to mess with while you're there.
One day I said to my friend Allie, I'm just going to switch his pen out to a non-clicker. So when he picks out the pen, he's not going to have a clicker. It's just going to be a pen.
Yeah, just a pen with a lid.
Yeah.
Like a regular old Bic pen.
Yeah.
That's it. I get it. So I would ask your family because honestly, that is a good segue into the things, and you can even say, Steph and I just did this podcast, or we were just talking about Misphonia, and it's a very real thing.
Well, I could tell you if I said Misphonia, none of them are going to know what I'm talking about.
Of course they're not, but that's what you dislike.
Because to be honest, before we discussed this topic, I didn't know it was labeled that. I thought it was just batshit crazy.
No, it has a label. So batshit crazy.
Batshit crazy.
Something else. This is not. This is Misphonia.
Right. So yeah, they won't know either. But I'm definitely going to. And
Yeah.
I'll report back. So we have 2 projects we have to report back
And
on.
I have the quiz up right now,
We
so
will report in the comments below. And I want to know in the comments below if you guys have them and what they are.
yeah.
I'd be interested to know if there's anything that we didn't discuss. Maybe there's something. I don't
Oh,
know.
there's a lot of noises.
Like there's some people that can't stand a baby crying.
Yeah, I get
Like
that.
literally can't stand a baby crying.
Yeah, it's that noise is what
Yeah.
invokes their visceral
Yeah.
reaction to a sound.
Yeah. So anyway, I'm interested to know, but
Me too.
that's all I
Okay,
have.
guys.
So
Bye.
bye.